Whether you're in middle school or high school looking to fundraise for your youth group's mission trip, or maybe you're a college student looking to take a gap year, whatever it is, we've created this video for you where we teach you 7 practical tips to teach you how to fundraise for your mission trip. Now let's get started. Tip number 1 is to write letters. If you've been thinking through how to fundraise for your mission trip, then the chances are you already know about this idea. You've probably already actually begun writing letters and getting ready to send them out. That's great, and you already got a head start. The advice I would give to you when writing missionary fundraising letters is to handwrite them. Don't print them out or email them. To be honest, there's a lot we could say about how to write missionary fundraising letters, and we actually already have. So check up here to watch our video where we give you 7 tips to enhance your missionary fundraising letters, or you can look in the description below. Tip number 2 is to follow up. After you send out the letters, whether it's by mail or maybe you give it to a person by hand, give it a couple of days. You want to give people some time to get the letter, one, but also to think and pray about giving. Once you've given it some time, go and follow up with that person. If necessary, you can send them a text, but it would be ideal that you talk to them in person. You're definitely not trying to corner them, but there's 3 goals whenever you get to follow up with a person. 1 is you remind them that you sent a letter, because some people can be sort of forgetful. The 2nd is you offer up answers for any questions they might have about your trip or how to give. And the 3rd is you want to offer to meet up with them and talk to them about your trip if they at all desire to. When fundraising for a trip, you want to be as clear as possible, and this helps with that. It also helps to subtly remind them, oh yeah, I was going to give to this person's mission trip. I completely forgot. Tip number 3 is to make a video. Nowadays, people tend to prefer watching a video over reading. Making videos is a great idea when brainstorming how to fundraise for your short-term mission trip. Make a video talking about your trip, talking about your financial needs, and then talking about how people can help through prayer and giving. Definitely spend some time on this. Don't just do it off the cuff and then be okay with it. It's kind of like your elevator pitch, so you really want to think through it. Try not to make the video longer than 2 minutes if possible. Tip number 4 is to post on social media. Remember that video you just made? Go ahead and post it on social media. Social media can be a great tool when figuring out how to fundraise for your mission trip. You can use it to update people on your needs for your trip, as well as ways they can pray for you. Not only that, but it allows the opportunity for people who you may not have thought of to give. Maybe one of your parents' old college roommates sees it from your mom sharing it on her page, and that causes them to want to give. Or maybe your friend's grandma's small group decides to give to your trip. You might think that this is super unlikely and probably not going to happen, but I promise you it'll happen more than you think it will. Whenever I was growing up, I was fundraising for multiple mission trips, and one of the summers, I remember I had a teacher whose parents' small group gave to my trip, and I didn't even know them. It was such an encouragement to me, and it was a real testimony of the Lord's provision to his calling. Tip number 5 is to create a short-term newsletter. The word newsletter might sound a little too formal for when you're thinking about how to fundraise for a mission trip, but basically what we're getting at is you want a way to communicate with people your continued financial needs as well as ways they can pray for you along the way. If it's a short-term trip, maybe sending mass emails or creating a group on Facebook would be best. If you're doing a gap year and it's a little longer, then think about a Facebook group or even doing a more formal newsletter. The goal of a newsletter is to update people on your financial needs, on your prayer needs, and really just keep them informed on the work you're doing. We actually created a video dedicated to helping you enhance your missionary newsletter. That video can be found up here or in the description below. Okay, now the chances are that if you're going on a short-term trip, it won't be your last one, and to be honest, it might not even be your first one. The last 2 tips help you create long-lasting relationships with patrons and help them see that when they give to you to go on a mission trip, they get to see all the work that the Lord does in and through you. Tip number 6 is to write thank you notes. When you're fundraising, it's really hard not to just focus on your financial goal and nothing else. Fundraising can be a super intimidating task, but I want to encourage you to really do everything you can to show appreciation for every person that offers to pray for you and give to you. Writing thank you notes is a great way to do that. For every person that gives to your trip, handwrite them a short note thanking them for helping you answer the call that the Lord has placed on your life. And tip number 7 is post-trip follow-ups. After your trip, take time to type up a letter talking about the highlights from your trip. People you saw give their lives to Christ, ways the Lord worked in your heart, even non-spiritual things like abnormal food you may have tried. It may help to keep a journal on the trip, writing down some of your favorite things that happened. Along with this, print out and send a picture. Giving a visual like this is super helpful and is so encouraging for people to see. If you really want to go above and beyond while you're on your trip, buy everybody who gave to you a little souvenir. Maybe it's a postcard, maybe it's a little keychain, just something to tell them thank you. Things like this will help people to feel extremely cared for. I hope these tips were extremely helpful for you, teaching you how to fundraise for a mission trip. If you're interested in seeing more content like this, be sure to follow along as we'll release regular content teaching you how to fundraise and things along those lines every single week. Also, check out our course, Modern Fundraising for Missionaries, where we teach you how to fundraise in a digital age. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.